If you're thinking about moving to Surrey in 2026, there are a few things you should know before you make the move. Surrey is changing very fast, and depending on where you choose to live, your experience can be completely different. The lifestyle, the schools, the noise, the safety, the walkability, the commute times, pretty much everything. My name is Dan and I'm a realtor in the Fraser Valley area, and this is the no BS breakdown of what you actually need to know so you move into the right neighborhood and not the wrong one. Let's get straight into it. Let's start off with number one. Surrey is not one consistent city, it's 6 totally different zones. The biggest mistake people make is thinking Surrey is just one big area. It's basically 6 separate cities inside one name, and each has its own pros, cons, lifestyle, and energy. Here's the clean breakdown. South Surrey is a higher end neighborhood with beach access and some of the best schools. It also offers a quieter lifestyle and newer homes. Fleetwood is super suburban. Quiet streets, parks everywhere, strong schools, and Fleetwood is going to change the most because of the SkyTrain. Clayton and Cloverdale are full of townhomes, young families, new developments, lots of construction, and is a little bit more affordable compared to areas like South Surrey. Guildford has the mall, big box stores, highway access, older homes, but decent value, and is very convenient for commuters because of the highway access. Newton is a little bit of an older neighborhood. It's a more affordable entry point, has the most diversity, and pockets vary a ton block by block. Surrey Central, or Reilly, is the most developed. It's full of high rises, the SkyTrain, SFU, Surrey Memorial Hospital, and the list of things coming to Surrey Central is very long. Most people generalize Surrey, but 9 times out of 10, they're wrong. It totally depends on which zone you pick, and when people pick the wrong spot, it's because they don't understand the differences. Number 2 is the SkyTrain expansion will massively change the city. Even though the Surrey Langley SkyTrain won't be fully complete until around 2028 or 2029, 2026 is when the neighborhood shifts will become extremely noticeable. The biggest impacts will be in Fleetwood, which will be by far the most dramatic because of how suburban Fleetwood previously was. Surrey Central, which is already a downtown core, but it will become even bigger. Clayton Heights, where you're going to see a ton more density and transit corridors, and Guildford and close to 152nd because of the traffic pattern changes. If you're moving to Surrey in 2026, you need to think long term. Ask yourself, will density increase in the area? Will these quiet streets still be quiet in 3 to 5 years? Will future transit make this place busier? Will new condos or townhomes be built nearby? Surrey is not static, and it's one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country. So if you want a quiet neighborhood, choose based on the future, not just what it looks like today. Number 3 is traffic will impact your life depending on where you work. Let's be straight up, commuting from Surrey to Vancouver is not fun. If you work downtown Vancouver at a strict 9 to 5, you should prepare yourself. The commute isn't impossible, but it's very long, especially if you're coming from South Surrey, Cloverdale, Clayton, or Fleetwood before we talk about if there's any accidents on the highway. Highway 1 improvements help, but it's still super busy. But if you work in Surrey, Langley, Delta, or Abbotsford, or you work from home, then Surrey could be perfect. Just be realistic about your commute. A lot of people move here thinking it's not that bad. Then after 2 weeks, they're shocked by how much time they're losing just driving. Matching your neighborhood to your work life will be a key part of how satisfied you are with the move. Number 4 is Surrey has some of the best schools in BC, but only in certain areas. People have outdated views of Surrey schools. The reality is some of the top ranked public schools in the entire province are right here, especially in South Surrey. Here's a quick layout. Some of the top tier schools include Semiahmoo Secondary, Elgin Park Secondary, Grandview Heights Secondary, and Earl Marriott. And for areas that also have some solid schools you can look into, you can check out Fleetwood, Clayton, or Cloverdale. If you have kids and school rankings matter, do not pick a house first and check the catchments second. It should be the other way around. Pick the school catchment, then pick the house. Number 5 is Surrey's presale market is one of the biggest in the province, but results vary a lot. Surrey's presale market is massive. You'll hear about dozens of projects launching every single year, especially in Surrey Central, Fleetwood, and South Surrey or Grandview Heights. But here's the thing most people don't know. Not all pre-sales in Surrey appreciate well. Some will underperform if you choose the wrong area or the wrong developer. You want to know the developer's track record, the exact block the building sits on, future zoning, amenity plans, the proximity to the SkyTrain, and strata history if it's in the later phase. If you pick the wrong pre-sale, you could have trouble renting it out, reselling it, or getting strong appreciation. If you pick the right one, it can be one of the smartest moves in the Fraser Valley, but you need to know that Surrey is not just a buy anything and win pre-sale market. you need to be very selective. Number 6 is walkability depends entirely on the neighborhood. When people think of Surrey, they usually think it's car dependent, but that's only half true. The most walkable areas are Surrey Central by a mile, Fleetwood, which is improving with the SkyTrain, and Clayton Heights. Areas that are semi-walkable include Guildford, if you're close to the mall, South Surrey, which is only walkable in certain pockets like Grandview and by the beach, and the least walkable neighborhood is Newton. For pretty much anything you have to do, you will have to depend on your car. If walkability is important, be intentional about your neighborhood. Otherwise, you'll end up driving everywhere, even for small errands. Number 7, Surrey has insane cultural diversity, and it's actually a huge positive. Surrey is actually one of the most diverse cities in Canada, and honestly, it can be one of the best things about it. You get amazing Indian food, Korean cafes, Filipino bakeries, Middle Eastern restaurants, specialty grocery stores, cultural festivals, community events, and the list goes on. If you want a city where every culture is represented, you'll love Surrey. If you want a quiet but less busy, more traditional suburban lifestyle, then South Surrey or Fleetwood will most likely fit you better. Number 8 is housing is still more affordable than Vancouver, but affordability totally depends on your neighborhood. People often say Surrey is affordable, but it depends where. The most expensive area is South Surrey, especially Elgin, Grandview Heights, and the White Rock area. For mid-range pricing, you're going to want to look into Fleetwood, Clayton, or Cloverdale. The most affordable areas in Surrey are Newton, Guildford, and Surrey Central, especially when you're talking about condos. And this is important because Surrey is the only large city near Vancouver where you can still choose between entry-level condos, mid-range townhomes, newer family homes, luxury detached, walkable high-rise living, and quiet suburban streets. While Vancouver can't give you all of that, Surrey can. Just make sure the neighborhood aligns with your lifestyle and not just your price range. Number 9 is noise, traffic, and density will affect certain pockets more than others. Surrey is growing and is growing extremely fast. Unfortunately, that means construction, density, and traffic patterns are changing every single year. Here's where you'll feel it the most. Number 1 is Surrey Central, where there's constant development. Number 2 is 152 Street by Grandview Heights. Number 3 is Guildford near the highway. Number 4 is Clayton near 72nd and Fraser Highway. And number 5 is Fleetwood, pretty much anywhere along the SkyTrain route. If you want a quieter lifestyle, stay deeper inside neighborhood pockets. If you want convenience and walkability, then you'll have to, unfortunately, accept more noise. Simple as that, just like any city you pick. Number 10 is Surrey's rec centers. Parks and community amenities are some of the best in the Fraser Valley. A lot of people overlook this. Surrey has invested heavily into parks, turf fields, greenways, and brand new rec centers. Clayton actually has one of the nicest rec centers in the Fraser Valley. South Surrey has some of the best fields and sports facilities, and Fleetwood is getting a ton of new amenities with the SkyTrain development. Surrey Central has a library, the recreation hub, and art spaces, so if you're active or if you have kids, Surrey is actually one of the best places to live in BC. Number 11 is your lifestyle in 2026 won't be the same as your lifestyle in 2030. So pick your neighborhood based on the future. This is the most important part of the entire video because Surrey is growing too fast to only make decisions based on what looks good right now. You need to think, will this area be louder in 3 to 5 years? Will a future SkyTrain station raise density? Will traffic patterns make this area more stressful? Will new development change the vibe? Will upcoming schools or zoning improve the area? Will this neighborhood still match my lifestyle in a few years? People who think ahead are the ones that end up loving Surrey long term. The people that don't usually switch neighborhoods after 1 to 2 years. Number 12, we're going to move on to property taxes, utilities, and the overall cost of living, how it may vary a lot depending on which area you're in. People assume everything is cheaper just because it's outside of Vancouver, which isn't true. Certain parts are super expensive, and again, here's how it breaks down. South Surrey, especially Elgin, Grandview Heights, and White Rock are very expensive. Newer detached pockets in Fleetwood and Clayton can also be quite pricey. For mid-range pricing, again, you're going to want to look into Cloverdale or Guildford, and some of the most affordable pockets are Newton and older parts of Surrey Central. Property taxes change based on assessed value, and utilities depend on the home type and the home age. Newer homes with better insulation will save you money. Older homes in Guildford or Newton could have higher ongoing costs. So the gist of it is Surrey isn't cheap, it's option heavy. You can spend a little or you can spend a lot depending on which part you want to be in. Number 13 is you need to understand future zoning or you could be blindsided later. This is the biggest blind spot for people moving into Surrey. Surrey is constantly rezoning residential to mixed use, townhomes to condos, older commercial to high rise, low density pockets to medium density. So if you buy in the wrong spot, you might end up next to a construction site for the next 5 years. And if you buy in the right spot, you could benefit massively from the future growth. If you're moving in 2025, you need to be aware of the new Fleetwood plan, the Surrey Langley SkyTrain corridor, Clayton Heights density expansion, South Surrey's controlled growth, Guildford's redevelopment plans, and the mini downtowns Surrey's building. Don't just check out the MLS photos, look at the area map, look up the future development. Don't buy blind. Number 14, let's talk about condos versus townhomes versus detached and how Surrey's market works differently than Vancouver. Vancouver is very condo heavy. Surrey is more balanced. Here's the simple breakdown. Condos are the best entry point. They have very strong rental demand, and walkable options are included in Surrey Central and Fleetwood. They're generally good for first-time home buyers and investors. Townhomes are usually the sweet spot for young families. They're actually the most competitive product in Surrey, and if you're looking for a plethora of options, you're going to want to look into Clayton, Fleetwood, or South Surrey, which are some of the best townhome hotspots. Prices vary wildly depending on the age, the build quality, and the location. For detached homes, South Surrey has the highest quality. Newton and Guildford are the best value. Cloverdale is pretty consistent across the board. And we're starting to see demand rise in Fleetwood because of the proximity to the new SkyTrain. Number 15 is Surrey is underrated for young professionals if you pick the right pocket. Most young professionals assume they need to be in Vancouver or Burnaby, but honestly, a lot of young people are starting to prefer Surrey Central, Fleetwood, or Clayton. And here's why. Surrey Central is turning into an actual downtown. Fleetwood is going to become an extremely convenient spot with the SkyTrain. And Fleetwood and Clayton have a good neighborhood vibe and will have very close proximity to the new SkyTrain. To pair that along with gyms, cafes, and rec centers, overall, it can be a very strong pick. Again, if you pick the right area, the lifestyle is great and the cost can be lower. So here's a checklist for before you actually move here. If you're thinking about moving to Surrey in 2026, this is what you want to do. Number 1 is pick your lifestyle first. Quiet, walkable, urban, suburban. Decide this beforehand. Number 2 is to match your lifestyle with the neighborhood. Don't shop blindly. Surrey requires precision. Number 3 is look at the future zoning and the transit plans. This will remove 90% of buyer regret. Number 4 is to check school catchments before looking at homes, especially in South Surrey and Fleetwood. Number 5 is to drive the neighborhood at different times during the day, morning, afternoon, and nighttime. The vibe can completely change. Number 6 is to look at traffic flow, especially near 152nd Street, Highway 1, and Fraser Highway. Number 7 is to evaluate your commute honestly. If you work in downtown Vancouver, be realistic. Number 8 is to visit parks and recreation centers. If you're a young family or you like working out or whatever, this is where you spend most of your time. Number 9 is look at the micro neighborhood, not just the big neighborhood, but the exact block. Number 10 is to compare the home type to your actual lifestyle. If you hate noise, try to steer away from a townhouse. If you hate yard work, don't buy a detached. Number 11 is to make decisions based on where Surrey will be in 3 to 5 years. These 11 things are usually what separates smart moves from more stressful ones. So the honest truth about moving to Surrey in 2026 is Surrey is not perfect, but in reality, no city is. But if you choose the right neighborhood, it can genuinely be one of the best places to live in BC. You get space, value, walkability in the right areas, top schools, community, parks, amenities, future growth, and a ton of lifestyle options. People who move here with a plan usually end up loving it. People who move here without a plan end up switching neighborhoods quickly. If you want a personalized plan where you should move in Surrey based on your lifestyle, commute, and goals, you can text me at 604-288-7592 or comment below Surrey plan and I'll send you a full breakdown of which neighborhood would fit you best, what to avoid, and where the biggest long-term opportunities are. Again, my name is Dan Reilly, a realtor in the Fraser Valley area. I'll see you in the next video.